wonder, make agenda and type into it for notes so we can get some notes down there. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I think it's being recorded.
Matt,
All
maybe
right, we
turn
come
off.
to order till 9.
Matt, can you turn off your video? Unless it's just me, you're
And
not coming across well.
it's probably because I've got two things open. So yes, see if that helps. Is that any better?
For me, yeah, much better.
Same,
Okay.
much more clear in the voice.
Oh, good. Sorry, guys. I was dragging windows around and opening tabs, and you can't multitask on a Chromebook, I guess, right? All right. Looks like we got Tammy. Tammy, do you want me to take some notes, or are you all set for that? I know you just got out of testing. She might still be transitioning, so. Oh, there she is. Can't hear you. No. Trouble with audio today all around, I think.
Remember, Tammy mentioned she had to leave at 10:30 as well.
Yeah. So the big thing is, we did call to order, Tammy. I'm just taking some notes here in the document. Mark, would you make me a co-host of this Zoom meeting?
You should already be, but
Okay, but it still said I couldn't enter the meeting without a host.
that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I guess we should add discussing the proofs that they sent us.
Yes, add. Okay, proofs. And then we'll do that. Let's do that right away. So I'll put it right after correspondence. How does that sound? Okay. Any public comment or discussion? Seeing none.
Oh, we lost Tammy.
Oh, we lost her. Yeah, she's been having trouble. We just had a meeting at 9 o'clock that she was struggling with. Any correspondence? Oh, no. We're going to review and approve the minutes of April 12th. Any changes or additions?
No.
Nope. I'll move that we approve them.
Any second?
Yep.
Chad? Any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, Derek, since I saw your mouth move in an aye fashion, you were muted. I think that's probably okay. Amy, we just approved the minutes of April 12th.
Perfect.
Hey, are you on your phone now?
Yes.
Do what you got to do. It sounds good and looks good.
And now it's a business expense.
Right. Write that puppy off. All right, any correspondence? I'll say none, although we did get the letter from Ed and Cynthia. I don't know if that would be considered correspondence. It's really just our communications back and forth.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the proofs. I just sent you the email that Ed sent a couple of weeks ago. Did everybody receive that?
Mm-hmm.
The subject line is.
Yeah. Matt, I think you should turn your video off again.
Maybe we should just kind of, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking through email while I'm in the Zoom. Oh, looking through, pulling up the email.
That's okay.
Yeah, the subject line that was forward groups.
Okay, so the first topic is the color palette. So he said he's revised the color palette. Actually, I think this is from Cynthia. She's revised the color palette overall RVUSD brand and website. The palette conforms with best practices for designing and leading types of color blindness. And there's some words there that anomaly, is that correct pronunciation?
I forget exactly, but they're the three types of color blindness that are most typical.
Excellent. So I guess, why don't we take these one at a time and let's discuss the color palette, which was attached to the email. Does anybody have anything to say about that?
So my only question is the bottom two. They look, to me, they look very similar, just maybe slightly different shades. So I'm not sure that that's depending on what they're going to be used for. I think it would be worth exploring, maybe altering one of them.
Mark, can you be a little more specific? Which bottom two? There are 4 columns and there are 6 rows.
So it's actually only one palette.
Okay.
It's the palette that she's talking about is the one on the left.
That's the true palette.
Yeah. And then the others are how people who are colorblind in those different fashions would see that palette.
Got it.
So and when I'm numbering them 1 through 6 top to bottom, so it looks like dark blue, light blue, yellow, orange, brown, and light brown.
Oh, so you see brown and light brown.
I do.
Okay. Does anybody else see maroon and green?
Yeah, and even, Mark does a great explanation of how to put the file together, but, even looking at, from a non-distorted view, I guess, there's definitely a differentiation between each of the 6 colors, top to bottom. So that's very interesting to see how you're seeing it.
So, Mark, you said you had color blindness yourself. Do you have, which column is would your palette be?
I'm a mixture of the second and third.
Okay.
I'm lucky enough to have a bit of both.
Okay.
So if that bottom one is green and not brown, I'd suggest that we try to find something different for that bottom one, or the brown. Just because I know that what I see, I know many people that see things very similar to the way I do. So I think that's just something we can talk to Cynthia about.
Okay. So the possibility of changing column 1, row 6 to something that's more brown, is that what you're recommending?
Something that is more different than row 5.
Okay, gosh.
I could do some research and try to find something. I would need the hex values in order to be able to do that, though.
Okay, so Mark, I'm just going to say Mark is suggesting a different color for the bottom for box number 6.
Yep. What you guys are seeing is green.
Okay. Great. Can you make that recommendation when we talk to them today, Mark?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Any other color palette questions or? Okay. Great. Wow. We're fortunate to have somebody with experience and who actually has those palettes, because we would never know. really, without that. So thank you. All right, moving on then, let's go on to the mascots. So there are 3 documents attached to the email. One is called Panther, one is called Bulldog, and one is Mascots in Progress. So if you can take a second and pull those up. Let's start with the Panther. What say ye about the Panther mascot? Anybody want to start?
I will. It looks too mean to me.
Okay.
I just don't think it's appropriate for elementary school.
Anyone else? I'll add something. It looks like a kill that's been mounted to me.
I was thinking the same thing once Mark mentioned he felt it was a little bit too mean. Because the mouth itself, that first down makes it look completely subdued, and then looking at the shield behind it, it does look like a mouth.
I wondered, is that supposed to be a crest behind it? Because the Bulldog has one too. So I wondered what that was added for.
I think it is supposed to be a crest. I think you're right on with that. I
I
noticed
believe that.
I was like, they both look like the Bulldog looks especially odd as taxidermy. But the thing I noticed about, like, I don't mind the meanness of the Panther, but I think the blue laser eyes make it give it that intensity that makes it a little freaky. But I don't know.
I didn't even pick up on the blue. I didn't see that.
Anybody else see the blue eyeballs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt.
Okay. So I just wrote in the notes that I think it looks a little like taxidermy. Maybe blue eyes.
Let me throw this question out to you. Maybe we can knock out a couple things really quickly. Does anybody dislike the shield crest view of these mascots?
I do.
I do too.
I dislike the shield crest.
Okay, so I think that's a good place to start.
Got it. And then do they both have laser colored eyes? I don't call the Bulldog.
Yeah, no, the Bulldog has black eyes.
But he has a blue face, which is a
Blue
little
face. I have a feeling she might have been trying to incorporate the school colors with those.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think so too. So
I'm not-
those colors are right off the palette.
Right.
With the Bulldog, I don't mind the coloring so much. It actually looks like one I just go wrestle with in bed, and then go to sleep. But it there's nothing special about it. I feel like it's something that you'd see in almost any child's book.
So how would you articulate that for the minutes, Mark? Nothing special to
Yeah, nothing yeah, nothing special.
Okay. Well, maybe we can give them this feedback and they can go back and wrestle it, like you said, a little bit, but in a different way and come up with something different.
I do like the idea of the two of them having a similar flavor. That I do like. And I do like the fact that they incorporate the colors of the schools.
I would say the Dover color would be the darker blue of the palette.
So maybe you need to switch colors.
Maybe I would ask the artist to consider that.
Yeah, and I think the color would be off if the the panther was supposed to represent the school color, it looks off as well.
What would the color be on the palette, Tammy, you
I
think?
was thinking it's either the fifth one in the first row or the fifth one in the, is it the fifth row? Or the fourth row, the last one.
And what is it now in the current logo?
That's a good question. Almost looks in between, to me, it looks like it's in between the two colors on the true, the orange and the red, but I don't know what you see.
Yeah, I'd agree with Tammy that it looks more red. It's missing some of the brownish hue to create a maroon, a true maroon color.
It does look red to me also, now that I look at it more closely.
And guys,
Yeah.
real quick, I just replied to the proofs email with just an image. It's a logo that kind of was resonating with me from actually a school where my oldest daughter attended elementary school in Utah, the Kitty Hawks, and just really has that juvenile approach that may be there. And I didn't even notice this. Tammy and I looked at this a while back, but the collar or lapel of the bomber jacket that the kitty is wearing has paws on it too, which, so again, just a little more, whether it's, it doesn't need a steam type coat, I wouldn't think, but, definitely more of that childish, because I think, Mark, to kind of go back to your point, we talked about being more of a juvenile, as far as Panthers go, this definitely does look like an older, can be on my own kind of thing. And I think that in and of itself gives it, not a menacing, but just mean. It's developed, I guess, to a degree physically. That's a little more intense than I think our original thought was for the elementary school age group.
Got it. I put in there, not juvenile enough. Okay. Any other comments on the mascots? I think it's good that we're able to kind of mix those,
Yeah, if they're going to integrate like font into it, we should see like what they're going to use for, like, say, like the Dover School with the bulldog. What kind of font and stuff they're going to, size of it, and how they're going to incorporate that into the logo.
So your question is kind of like, how will the fonts be incorporated into the logo?
That'd probably make or break the logo.
I know she talked last time, Cynthia talked last time, and you may recall this, guys, about how there's kind of like a simple logo, and then there was a more complex version that had the writing in it.
Yeah,
So-
that's the sheet with the paws on it.
Oh, yeah.
The Wardsboro, that's what she was referring to there. We don't have a lot of time before Ed shows up. Can we skip the Wardsboro, the paws and the River Valleys logos, and talk just really briefly about the site mockup?
Yes, that's fine.
And I have got a problem with both of those logos. I don't like either of them, but I just think that the site mockup is probably more important right now.
All right, let's do that. Let's shift on to site mockup. Everybody good with that? Okay, go ahead, Mark.
So to start with, when you open a submit, oh, I'm sorry, Derek.
I don't have the site mockup.
Oh, there's a link in the email from Ed or Cynthia, whoever sent it.
I don't think it was on that.
Yep,
Unless it's buried.
there are 19 images in that.
Oh, this is a while ago then?
Let me put a link in the chat for you there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Type message here to everyone. There you go. So go
Okay.
ahead, Mark. 19 images.
All right, so just a relatively simple thing. When you're on a sub menu and it's open, there should be an indication on that menu name that you're on it. So an underline or a change in color or something.
Okay. Did you have a one specific item of the 19 that we should be looking at as an example, Mark?
Hold on a second. Let me get that page up again. Cynthia is here.
Okay. Oh, she was able to make it. Great. Might as well bring her in, right?
So, so item 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, and 10 specifically. The ones that show the submenus as being opened.
But you don't know which parent menu it refers to.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
All right. So that in terms of articulating that, note about submenu indicator should highlight parent somehow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
And then I'm not a fan of the more menu. One, I don't like the word more. And two, I think that our menu structure should be more than, no pun intended, more than just the few items. I think there should be easier navigation than there is currently. So more parent menus.
So you're talking about the across the top with the little down arrow, blue down arrow?
Yes. So for example, on item number 8, it's about RVUSD, board, our schools, news, and more. That more menu should probably be broken up. I didn't look through the site spreadsheet enough, because quite honestly, once I looked at this, I forgot to go back. So I don't have any suggestions on how to break it up at the moment, but it more should really just be a few extra items, not a primary menu.
Hey
And where
guys,
would-
I have to go support students with SBAC testing. I'm sorry.
Tammy, do you have anything
Thanks,
else to
Tammy.
add, or why don't we just say if you have anything, let us know, and
Okay.
we'll just keep you posted.
Yeah, I do want to talk definitely about the logos. So definitely keep me posted.
Will do.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks, Tammy.
That's good. Do you want to bring them in now, Mark? I think it's fine if they hear some of our conversations, right?
Yep.
Any,
And kind of the last thing I had about the menu was, I don't know that we need a news item. I don't know that things are going to get updated enough to have a news menu item.
okay. I mean, we have newsletters and we have other updates that get updated. I don't think we need a news flash, like a breaking news page.
Hey, Ed.
Hello.
Hey, Ed.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in,
How are
Ed.
you guys doing?
Good. How
Yeah,
are
no
you?
problem. I'm good.
Good.
Sorry, Cindy. Sorry, there's a collision with Cindy. She teaches a class at the same time. So.
Yeah, no, we actually were kind of surprised because your Zoom name is Cynthia Ryan. We thought, oh, Cynthia was able to make it today.
No, I recently replaced my laptop with a new desktop computer, but I haven't yet bought a camera or microphone.
Yeah, no worries.
So I
We're
have
just
to use
gonna-
her. So I have to be at her unfamiliar computer.
No worries. We were just kind of going through all the items because we haven't had a chance to really chew on the email that Cynthia sent back in April. So we were just
Okay.
kind of finishing up the site navigation, the site mock-ups, going through those
Okay.
a little bit. Did you guys, Mark, did you have anything else you wanted to add there?
No, I think that's all I have right now.
Okay. Anybody else have any either site mock-up or the other items that we've not been to yet? Comments, Chad, Derek?
I'm good for the moment.
that picture that they used in item 8 of the list is classic. It's just like that boy in that picture is a 6th grader now. I think he was in 1st or 2nd grade in that picture. It's pretty awesome. And the little girl in the background moved away a couple of years ago, but she's probably 5th or 6th grader now too. So, all right, let's go back and just double check. So we skipped a couple items. We went right to site mockups. We talked a little bit about the logos, Ed. We haven't talked about the RVUSD logo. Shall we jump on that real quick, guys?
Maybe before we do that, Ed, you're not the artist. So I don't know that.
What are you saying, Mark?
I'm saying that you're the brains. You're doing the back end
Oh, okay.
programming work.
I'll take that.
So maybe we don't need to take your time up talking about the artistic parts.
Well, Cindy actually queued me up to go over some things. I'm not sure what you're looking at in terms of mock-ups, but if you're okay with me going through what she gave me to present, would that be okay?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? What we have, Ed, is the email that Cynthia sent dated May 2nd, and the subject is proofs. And you're on that, so I think you received it. That's what we've been looking at. It's got all the attachments that we've been reviewing, in particular the color palettes and the mascots and the mock-ups so far.
And I just put the link to the mock-ups in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yep, she did. Okay, great. That's the same stuff I have then. So she sent this out to you. So she wanted me to go over it really quickly. Can I do that?
Yeah. Why don't we have you do that while we've got you here?
Oh, okay. So looking at those attachments, the first was the color palette shown in the far left is its actual appearance, and the next 3 are the 3 primary types of color blindness and how they would interpret those colors.
Got it.
So Ed, I think the only comment we have on the color palettes comes mostly from me, who is the colorblind member of this family.
Oh, okay.
Looking at looking at any of them, the 5th and 6th, which I gather are brown and I'm told green.
On the true color, it's almost kind of a burnt orange and a maroonish, maybe. I'm not the artist.
The bottom 2?
Yeah, it's like a maroon.
The bottom 2. Yeah, orange and red, basically.
Isn't the 4th one orange?
Yes.
The 4th was orange and the 5th is red.
Yeah, the 5th is more like.
And there's a 6th one too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have it open all the way.
Okay. I was like, I'm not that colorblind.
The 6th is like a green.
Yeah.
So
it is. My apologies. Yeah.
I see the 6th as a lighter version of the 5th. So I think our suggestion is to try to find a color other than.
We just lost him. Did he totally leave the meeting? Was it something?
Looks like it. He got bumped. Well, that's interesting. So he must suffer from a color blindness. That's not one of the top 3.
Yes, it's like he said it's a combination of the 2 middle ones. So what he thought he would do was try to come up with a value for that 6th color that would be more different from the 5th color than what he sees with his experience.
Interesting. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Great.
So
Carry on.
the next thing were the Panther and Bulldog.
Yes.
do you have any feedback on those?
Yes, we actually just finished talking about those. So essentially, the general consensus was we thought maybe they're not juvenile enough, that they looked a little mean. That we think the crest and shield behind the two animals makes them look a little like taxidermy. And like
You know what? That's what I thought too.
and while we have a lot of hunters in both of our communities, probably having the mascot mounted on a plate is not something we're looking for.
Fair.
Thought maybe the blue eyes in the panther were a little piercing, but I don't know if that goes with the whole juvenile comment. The group thought maybe they were a little plain and that there was nothing spectacular about them. They looked a little like clip art. I know I don't want to be insulting of whoever did these, but
no, it's not. And you know, to a certain extent, a mascot will be clip arty, as opposed to photorealistic.
Yeah. And we like the idea that they share kind of the same flavor, the kind of same design elements, and that they incorporate the school colors in the palette. We thought the Dover color probably should be the darker blue, and that the Panther should be more like the fifth block on the color palette, a little more of that maroon instead of it comes across a little orange in the in the mock-up, and I think the color is more of a maroon. And then with the final question was, we were wondering kind of how the fonts would be integrated in the words, and we couldn't really tell that from just the mascot yet, but that was just a question that came up. Did I get everything, guys?
Yeah.
The font question, I don't know the answer to that. Oh, Mark's back. I don't know the answer to that, but I've written it down, so we'll get that from Cindy.
Which question?
And how the fonts would be integrated with the mascot, what that would look like.
Got it.
I'm not entirely sure on that.
Got it.
Okay. The Wardsboro logo.
Okay, so this is where we hadn't gotten to the specific Wardsboro logo, anything other than what we just said.
Okay, not the mascot, but the paw or the W.
Oh, thank you. Wardsboro logo, guys. So we haven't gotten to that logo yet. We don't have comments yet. Do you want to hear them now?
Okay, so well, I mean, I'm okay with that, but if you guys want to take it offline and come back to us with it, that's fine too.
Yeah, let's do that so that we optimize your time here, Ed.
Okay, and then let's the RVUSD logo. Did you get to that?
We didn't. We also did not get to that.
Okay, and so then the NAV structure document.
And
we had, you there?
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry. We had a number of questions in there. I think she shared the document. Yeah, I see her in there. A number of questions in there that were highlighted in yellow. So I guess maybe we could just go over those. Sound is really breaking up.
Matt, I think it's your internet connection.
I think it's actually my my terrible Chromebook. It's still trying to load that spreadsheet, and when it's trying to do that, it doesn't do anything else good. Okay, I think it's loaded now. Should be better.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
Okay, so can we go down those highlighted items to try to get the answers that we're seeking? Okay. So the first one would be line 19, policies and procedures. The note is follow-up prior to design, Google Docs or PDF with possible embedded viewer. So was this a question from you guys? You know?
I don't think specifically, although it's a good question to ask.
Oh, okay, right. So that the question is basically, do you know whether or not you wanted to, publish the policies and procedures as PDFs or directly as Google Docs?
As much as I'd like to go to Google Docs, I think the standard of PDF probably is the way to go.
Okay. Were there annual meetings in 2020 or 2021?
Every year.
Okay, because we couldn't find the content for that.
I have copies of the annual reports, which I can send you.
Okay.
And the minutes are located on the Wyndham Central site, but we're gonna have to import all of that into our own structure. So I'm not sure that it makes sense to do it just, meeting by meeting.
Well, there's only one per year, right?
For the annual meeting, right?
Right. Okay, but you'll be able to get that content to us that's the question, I guess, because we weren't able to locate it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, can I interrupt you for a second? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm sorry, I just had to switch to have another computer so that I can take notes and participate in the meeting at the same time, because as soon as I start typing, I suddenly can't hear or see you, which is extremely frustrating. I'm sure it's just low horsepower Chromebook here, so I won't do that again. I'd like to just roll back a little bit to the conversation about PDF versus Google Doc on the minutes. Reason being, I want to make sure that we consider workflow, and that if the Google Doc is managed properly, it removes a step, and anybody with a browser will be able to see a Google Doc. And so I just would like to hear the group's thoughts on, nobody here is going to have to be part of the workflow. That's going to be something that's done administratively. But I'd like to just hear and make sure that we're really considering that choice.
So Matt, I'm going to turn my video back on. Hopefully my internet's going to keep working. I agree with you 100%, except for one big flaw in that. These documents shouldn't be editable by anybody.
Right, but they have to be editable by the person who's managing the workflow, right?
Well, no, once the minutes are approved, that document shouldn't be editable. PDF is not editable.
Right, I see what you're saying.
So from a workflow perspective, I absolutely 100% believe that Google Docs is the way to go. I had a long meeting with Meg and Peter about this a couple of years ago, and both of them were against it then. And I think I've come to go to their position in that it's just, you can't, with a PDF, you can be sure the person that is managing it hasn't changed it. Your timestamps with, and maybe we can do that for the drafts, although I'm not sure it makes any sense to have a different file formats. But because the minutes are a legal document, I don't think we can do anything other than something that is an uneditable format. Not that PDFs are 100% uneditable, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I completely understand and hear that, but it's, nothing is uneditable. If somebody had malice, they would be able to do that. And I do want us to consider the people that are gonna be doing this work. Maybe Ed, if you've had any experience with schools that are trying to do this, maybe a Google Doc version until it's finalized and been approved does make sense. Then you know if it's a PDF, you know that those minutes have been approved and that they're in the archive, so to speak. If it looks like a Google Doc.
My understanding with HUSD is what they do is they use Google Docs, you know, to draft and collaborate or whatever on the document, and then, you know, from Google Docs they export PDF. And to Mark's point, part of that is because you know, they need to be able to say that this document is effective as of this date, and then until it actually gets published with a new date, you know, that's the policy, that's the procedure, even if in the back end in Google Docs they're working up other ideas.
I think that's a good plan, and it kind of is the best of both models. And I do like the idea of it getting a stamp saying, this is now a final document. It's been approved by, you know, it's been approved by the body, and it's, you know, posted and public and final.
Yeah. And regarding, you know, you'd mentioned earlier that anyone with the browser can view a Google Doc. Anyone with the browser will be able to view a PDF as well.
Right. Yeah, that's the beauty, one of the beauties of those sort of standard formats. Okay, good. Thank you for entertaining me.
Matt, if I make a suggestion, first of all, I apologize for all the noises you're hearing. That's my glucose monitor telling me that I've got no blood sugar. But clearly I've got some. So that's why I'm drinking sugar.
Just enough.
If we want to explore the idea of using Google Docs, then I think we need to bring that to the board, because we're going to have to get a legal opinion on that. So we'd have to get a lawyer involved to find out whether that is acceptable. So I think we should just decide whether we want to explore it. And if we do, let's talk to the board about possibly getting a legal opinion on it.
So may I make a suggestion? I think we should stick with the idea that the final approved document remains a PDF. That's a pretty well-established standard. I think that's fine. And I think that the school will have to use some platform, or the administration, to manage the production of the documents. And I think that it doesn't matter whether that's Microsoft Office or Google Docs, as long as the final product meets kind of the standard like we talked about.
Yeah, it checks out.
So you're not talking about having like the draft version of minutes be published as a Google Doc?
That's not specifically what I was talking about, but tell me more about that.
That's what I thought you were saying. Hey, Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hold on one sec. I'm gonna get off headphones.
That's what I thought you were saying. But a couple problems with that. For example, Peter uses Microsoft Word, and he's our note taker, or our minutes taker. And he has no direct, he does everything offline. He doesn't even, never mind. He does everything offline. So that, and then I worry about whoever is managing the files. In this case, most likely Meg or whoever is in her position, having to consider multiple file formats. You know, which one am I supposed to use for this case? Rather than just having a, you know, the standard PDF or Google Doc, but, you know, for all formats, for all files.
I mean, just to throw out there, you can work offline on Google Docs.
Right. Well, I guess what I meant by working offline is the way he transfers files makes very little sense to most people that use computers. I've worked with him many hours on this. So he's just, there's no direct connection between what he works on and what we would be publishing.
Got it.
Well, that may be another problem too that we have to ultimately solve, right? Is part of that part of the workflow is that initial production of the minutes, and then how does that get to the person who posts them?
So I'll tell you what.
From our,
I'll throw this out from my perspective. We should be housing the Google Docs that are used to ultimately create the PDFs, so that work isn't done on, kept on just a laptop someplace. But that's again a workflow issue that I think we have to. That's something that we're going to have to take up with the board, because there's going to be lots of changes if we want to change the current workflow. And we'd be an outlier for the most part in the SU. Marlboro does things a little differently, but for the most part, everybody does things very similarly.
I think the word you're looking for is trailblazer.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. I couldn't agree with you more.
But from our point of view, from our perspective, the answer to the question about line 19 is that ultimately what's going to be hosted on the website or websites is a PDF.
As the final approved document, yes.
Okay, and we can move forward with that knowledge. Okay.
I would
I'm
just
gonna
because
include
you. Oh, sorry. Just quickly, because you had a viewer in there, I do want to make sure that if the viewer has either a download link, sorry, or there's a download, so the document can be downloaded, and not viewed online.
So Cindy wrote this document, and she wrote embedded viewer, but the reality is we would rely on the embedded viewer of the device. So if you use Microsoft Edge to open PDFs, then clicking that link would open it in that viewer. Or if you use Acrobat on your laptop, then it would open in that viewer. So it's whatever your device settings are.
So I think I'd like to have a download button also then for each file.
Yeah, and that would be within whatever. So if you happen to open it in Microsoft Edge will let you save that document, right? But it'll view first from Edge, right?
What I'm saying is I don't want to rely on whatever embedded viewer an individual uses, because it's not going to be the same on different computers. Some will have Adobe.
But here's the thing, Mark. Even if I download it, if I then go to open it, it's going to open it in that viewer. So, yeah, we can do both. We can have view or download. But if you download it on a device that you then go to view it on, it's the same viewer that we would have launched anyway.
Right, but there can be people that are going to want the document on whatever device it is and not need to rely on being online to view it.
Yeah,
That's the concern.
absolutely.
Okay. Yep. So we just need to put it. So
Yeah,
instead, just
you can
download it.
Yeah, that's
Can
fine.
you change the?
I'm writing my
Writing,
notes
okay.
here rather than mess with your document.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then I'm going to catch Cindy up to where we were in just a moment.
It's got
Quite a chair.
What's that?
She's got quite a chair.
I know, it's bouncy, right? So we were going over essentially things where we couldn't find content. Mark would say that he could get us that content.
Yeah, I assumed as much,
Okay.
but I just wanted to raise awareness that we were going to need this moving forward.
So then I'm going to move down to line 44. Are there RVUSD newsletters or only newsletters at the school level?
just the
So
school.
does the district itself send out newsletters?
No,
No, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so the school, yep.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, scrolling down.
The continuous improvement plan. Yeah, is this different for each school, or is this something that should be at the district level?
This is line 74 we're looking at.
different for each school.
Different for each school. Okay. 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 Okay, then I had to mention, last time we met that, that the program of inquiry, that maybe we wanted one also for Dover. You were talking about, you were gonna discuss it internally to see whether we were gonna have a individual program of inquiry for each one of the schools, or whether that was something that was consistent across the district.
So POI is part
Sounded
of,
like we needed one for each school to me, but
so POI is part of the IB program focus area at Dover School only.
only at Dover. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, okay.
So what line?
So that's line
76.
76, and then
So,
that, yeah, and then that also 116. So then there isn't going to be, Wardsboro then would not have a program of inquiry, correct? Page.
Correct. They may have something else that's specific to STEAM as part of their focus area. So I'm imagining each school is going to have a focus area spot, and in Dover, it's going to look like IB, and in Wardsboro, it's going to look like STEAM. And the IB one
Okay,
for
so let me
Dover is going to have POI, and the STEAM one for Wardsboro may have some other content piece that Tammy would have to provide.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. So, okay. All right, so that makes sense.
You were down at 116.
Yeah, but I jumped down. And then we had to answer on that. Okay. On Wardsboro, there's a school club. And is this going to just link to a Facebook page? I was waiting feedback on that, or is that you need a page where we have page level permissions for the school club to edit that page?
Good question. I think that's going to have to be a question directly to Tammy.
Okay,
Actually, I think that would be a
Would you-
board. I think that would be a board decision, whether we want to provide a page to the school clubs, link to them at all, and whether or not we want to link to any social media, which I personally would be very against.
That's right. We brought this up, I
Okay.
think, at a previous meeting.
we did, and I was wondering if there had been any decision yet on this.
No, I just made a note to talk to the board about it, Matt.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Okay. All right, and line 123, that answered for me because we talked about the focus area and that's the STEAM, so we're good. And we'll figure out what those pages are with Tammy.
Hey, Mark.
Line 132. So it's named a student parent handbook at Wardsboro, and it's named a student handbook at Dover. Should it be consistent between the two schools, or do we want those named differently?
Let's have it be consistent.
What would you like the consistent name to be?
Student parent is fine. The Wardsboro name is fine.
Student parent handbook. Okay, can you note that? Okay, awesome. Oh, and then line 145, it's sitting all by itself. There's a broken link on Wardsboro School for the preschool. Is that supposed to lead off to somewhere else, or is there like a preschool program that needs to be featured in Wardsboro?
Let's see. Is it the preschool info link, Cynthia?
Yes,
Both schools have a
When I-
preschool.
both schools have a preschool. Do they need a page that for each one of them then?
You would think families would want that information.
They would, yeah. Okay, so let's get that into the nav structure then on that.
Looks like the Dover or the Wardsboro link is going out to a Wyndham Central page, which is a little odd. Did you guys?
Oh,
notice?
so,
Just a generic preschool page for the SU.
I don't know. It's a 404, so it's not
Oh.
actually going anywhere, but it's at wyndhamcentral.org.
yep,
So
yeah, that's why I wasn't clear.
I do want to, the preschool pages are to me very important, because Vermont has, statewide preschool choice. And we want to be bringing as many preschool students into our buildings as possible. So we have them through the rest of their academic career.
I think
Yeah,
it would be
that makes
best to have,
sense.
to each school to have its own pre-K page with information about the pre-K, because they are different programs and they have different features
Okay.
based on the facilities and all of those things. I think Mark's point's really important.
Okay.
Hey, Matt.
Then we're
does
gonna
Dover-
need to develop some content for those pages.
And Mark and Matt, in line with that, does Dover do 3-year-olds as well as 4 or 5?
Yes.
Okay.
I wonder, Cynthia, if you could use the content from the Dover page for the Wardsboro page, and then we can edit the specifics in terms of
Sure. Yep.
might be different,
Yep.
at least as a starting point.
Yep. Let's do that.
The Dover
Okay.
page is under new students, new pre-K students currently.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Great. All right, we will do that. Did you go through the other stuff? Or where?
I did, and I can recap their feedback on
Okay.
the Panther, the Bulldog, the color palette. They had not yet gone over the Wardsboro logo or the RVUSD logo.
Okay.
And because they haven't had a chance to discuss it internally, we didn't discuss
Yeah.
it here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Have you done the XD file yet with them?
I have not taken them to the XD.
Okay. All right. Let's do that next then.
Very in charge.
iDrive will switch. Okay. Are they seeing the screen or no? Okay.
So guys, can I just do a time check?
Yeah.
I have about 4 minutes before my next.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know what we have for time left, or if we're now talking about maybe scheduling another meeting on the 26th.
What's the day?
What's?
Oh, we're gonna be in Cal.
We're gonna be traveling on vacation on the 26th.
Okay.
Is it possible to schedule another meeting for another time?
Well, I
Or can
think
we
our
just
team-
send this via email?
I did send them the link. I
Oh,
think
okay.
I sent you the link. I just, let me just really quick show you really quick what I'd like you to, oh, I can't share.
Yeah, we were looking at it before. If you have a specific
Okay.
slide,
So you were looking at the page designs that I did for
On
the homepage and stuff. Okay. So I just need feedback on that, if I'm going in the right direction, if you know, are there things that you dislike? Are there things that you like? Are we in the right ballpark? Because if we're in the right ballpark and we're close, then I can keep developing pages. But I don't want to develop a whole bunch of pages and then afterwards have you come back and say, oh, actually, this isn't it at all. And then, you know, wasted a bunch of time.
So I have some notes from a conversation we had, Cynthia, that I can share. Do you guys want to chime in on the question though about ballpark? Mark, Derek, Chad?
about ballpark, you said?
Yeah, Cynthia's question about is she in the right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah.
You feel good about that,
Okay.
Mark? Okay,
I think-
Derek, Chad?
Yeah, I do as well.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, well then let me share our, we have four bullets from that conversation that I'll share with you that are minor. The first was the idea of a sub-menu indicator so that when you click on a menu, one of the main menus, and it pulls down a sub-menu, that somehow the main menu that you've highlighted is still indicated in the shadowing or shading. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We talked about the idea of having some alternative to the more menu, which we thought really should only be a few extra items. I don't really know, Mark, if you want to talk more about that. That was.
So I need to go through your menu spreadsheet again, but I think more should really be, one, I'm not a fan of the word. I'm not sure what would be better to replace it, but it really should just kind of be some of the extraneous stuff. I think we need to have one or two additional parent menus on the pages. So there's easier access, more direct access to more material.
Let's look at what's under more real fast. Oh, I can't right here. Okay. I can look at that some more. I was trying to keep it really simple because navigating between each different one, I was trying to keep it very, very streamlined so that it was clear where you were. But let me take another look at it and see what else could go to the top level.
And Mark, will you follow up with what you said about checking the nav spreadsheet and just kind of confirming that we have the parent nav buttons that we want?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then there were two other notes, quick notes, Cynthia. One was, well, Mark, we just said that, need more review of the site menu options and structure, which we can do. And then we said, we don't know if we need a news menu because there really isn't like there aren't news flashes that come up. And we have the newsletter.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we could probably.
Kill that one. Okay.
Is that correct,
All
guys?
right. That makes sense.
Okay. That's all we
Yeah.
had under mock-up, Cynthia.
Oh, not bad. Awesome. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So I'll keep going then with design and we'll nail down the navigation. I mean, that's obviously important, but the way that I'm building an XD, that's a component, we call it. And so when I change that component, it'll change it across the rest of the pages. So I can keep going with design on this. This is good.
That sounds great. Guys,
Great.
I'm terribly sorry, but I'm going to have to chip off to my next thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fine.
All
Do you
right.
think-
So maybe we can nail down when the next meeting is with the people that remain real quick and then.
Yeah, That's what I'd love to do. What works for y'all?
All right, Matt, we'll get in touch with you about a meeting. Either way, we should meet the 26th because we have other things to go over.
Let's meet the 26th. Do you think we should meet next week as well to try to finish going over those items? Oh, we can't meet with Cynthia and Ed on the 26th.
No, I think the committee should meet the 26th to finish going over items.
Perfect. That's perfect. Let's plan on that. And then do you guys want to let us know, Cynthia and Ed, when you're back and we can get with you?
Yeah, so we could schedule something next week, or we could schedule something like on the 2nd of June, the week after. We're traveling from the 25th through the 30th. We're taking a long Memorial Day weekend and heading out to California. So
Matt, why don't we just do a doodle poll since you need to leave?
Why don't we do the 26th and the 2nd? Can we do that?
It works for us.
it works for us.
We don't want to meet with you before we meet because we need to, mull over some items.
Well, you want to, but you're not going.
I mean, we want
We
to.
know what you meant.
Does that make sense to everybody? You good
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah, that works.
10 o'clock on the 2nd?
10 o'clock on the 26th for the committee, 10 o'clock on the 2nd for the committee plus Cynthia and Ed.
That's
We
awesome.
can do that.
All good with
Yep.
that?
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. I will send
Thanks,
the
guys.
notes out. And we'll send the invitations out later in the month.
Okay.
Great.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
guys.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Be well.